Have you ever felt a deep calling inside, a pull toward something greater, more meaningful, but also found yourself shrinking away the moment it required emotional vulnerability? Or maybe you've built a life of solitude, independence, even success, and yet a quiet ache lingers, whispering that something is missing. What if that something isn't just love but your soul's true calling? Welcome back to the channel. Today's video is an invitation especially for those who identify with avoidant attachment styles or emotional self-protection to explore something few people ever talk about: how the walls around your heart might be blocking your deepest purpose. Because beyond the fear of closeness and the discomfort with emotional intimacy, there's a sacred truth that your soul is longing for you to remember. We're not just talking about psychological patterns today, we're diving into the spiritual blueprint beneath emotional avoidance. We'll explore how avoidance may have once served your survival, but how at this moment in your evolution, it may be standing in the way of your highest expression, deepest relationships, and truest destiny. So let us start at the core. Avoidance is often misunderstood. It's not simply a fear of commitment or an inability to love. It's more subtle, more complex. It's a learned protection against emotional overwhelm, rooted in early experiences of being unseen, unsupported, or emotionally unsafe. But here's what most people miss. Avoidance doesn't mean a lack of feeling. Quite the opposite. Avoidant individuals often feel deeply. So deeply, in fact, that emotional intimacy can feel threatening to the nervous system. So the heart retreats behind logic, behind self-reliance, behind a perfectly curated independence. And yet behind that fortress, the soul is whispering, calling, longing, because the soul's true nature is connection. Even if you're someone who prefers solitude, even if you're introverted, even if you're spiritual but don't feel comfortable with traditional ideas of love, your soul still longs to be seen. Not for what you do but for who you are. Not just in isolation but in intimacy. And that creates the great paradox. Avoidant hearts are often the ones most deeply yearning for sacred connection. But they've been conditioned to fear it. It's not unusual for spiritually inclined avoidants to throw themselves into purpose-driven work. They may become healers, creators, leaders, mystics. They're attuned to subtle realms. They feel the suffering of others. They care more than they can say. But they often bypass their own emotional needs. They spiritualize their solitude. They say things like, "I'm here to serve, not to connect," or "my path is solo." And while some paths are solitary for a time, most of us eventually come to this truth. Your purpose and your heart are not separate. Your soul's true calling is not just about what you do. It's about how fully you show up. How open you are to being transformed by people, by love, by pain, by joy, by intimacy. Avoidant hearts often hear the call long before they admit it. It might come as a restlessness, a sense that something is off even if life looks good on paper. It might show up as emotional flashbacks when someone gets too close, as dreams, as synchronicities, as messages in meditation. The soul keeps knocking, gently then louder, until one day the questions get too loud to ignore. What am I really afraid of? Why do I always pull away when it matters most? Is my independence actually isolation? This is often the moment when the spiritual path breaks open, not just as a set of rituals or beliefs but as a surrender, a letting go of the armor, a reorientation toward the heart. And this moment, while beautiful, is also incredibly destabilizing. Because spiritual awakening doesn't just open your third eye, it cracks open your heart. For the avoidant soul, this is where the real work begins. Relationships become mirrors. The people closest to you start triggering old wounds. You may feel the urge to run, to isolate, to intellectualize your feelings. But something has shifted. You know now. You know that running won't free you. You know that avoidance won't fulfill you. You know that your next level of spiritual growth requires one thing: connection. But how do you move from solitude to sacred connection? You don't bulldoze your walls. You honor them. You thank them. And then bit by bit you begin to gently dismantle them. Start with conscious awareness. Name your patterns. Track them without shame. Notice when you shut down emotionally. Notice when you pretend you're fine but feel disconnected. Notice the moment you start to withdraw and pause. Next, practice small acts of vulnerability. You don't have to expose everything all at once. Maybe it's saying, I don't know how to talk about this, but I want to try. Maybe it's sitting with someone in silence instead of leaving. Maybe it's texting back, even when your instinct is to disappear. These are not small victories. These are quantum leaps for the avoidant heart. Conscious communication becomes your lifeline. Learn to speak your fears instead of acting them out. Instead of ghosting, say, I'm feeling overwhelmed and need space, but I care about you. Instead of shutting down, say, this is hard for me to express, but I'm trying. And yes, set boundaries. Healthy ones. But don't let your boundaries become prisons. Let them be bridges. This journey is not about becoming someone else. It's about becoming more you. The real you. The one beneath the protection. The one your soul remembers. And hear us the beautiful truth. The more you align with your soul's calling, the more you naturally open to deeper connection. Why? Because purpose heals avoidance. When you begin living authentically, expressing your truth, owning your gifts, showing up fully, you stop needing to hide. You stop fearing exposure. You start trusting yourself to be seen. And that changes everything. Imagine relationships where you don't have to pretend, where you can be honest about your need for space but also your desire for closeness, where both partners are spiritually aware, emotionally mature, and committed to growth, where the relationship itself becomes a sacred container for transformation, not a trap, but a temple. Yes, avoidant tendencies may still arise. The urge to retreat might never fully disappear. But now you recognize it. You name it. You work with it. You move through it with grace. And in doing so, you unlock your own heart. This is the soul's true calling. Not just service. Not just enlightenment. But wholeness. You came here not just to do. You came here to feel. To connect. To remember. To love. And you don't have to do it alone. Start with one step. One breath. One honest moment. One whisper to your own soul. I'm ready to open. Slowly but truly. Your heart is not a fortress. It's a doorway. Now I'd love to hear from you. Have you struggled with avoidant patterns? Has your spiritual path ever challenged your comfort with intimacy? What practices or insights have helped you open your heart? Share in the comments. I'm listening. If this video resonated, like it, subscribe, and hit the bell to stay connected. We're building a space where deep souls and guarded hearts can meet, grow, and heal together. You are not broken. You are becoming.